Hello there, and welcome back to the Daily Bullet. My name is Sandra Mtambiro, and I'm your host for today. I'm a trustee for Project Yananai, and the goal of the project is to spread the love of God across the earth. And today, I have a message for you about faith, a woman's faith, as it is written. And this is taken from Matthew 15, from verse 23 to 28. So it says from the Good News Bible, but Jesus did not say, I'll actually start from verse 22 to 28. A Canaanite woman who lived in that region came to him. Son of David, she cried out, have mercy on me, sir. My daughter has a demon and is in a terrible condition. But Jesus did not say a word to her. His disciples came to him and begged him, send her away. She's following us and making all this noise. Then Jesus replied, I have been sent only to the lost sheep of the people of Israel. At this, the woman came and fell at his feet. Help me, sir, she said. Jesus answered, it isn't right to take the children's food and throw it to the dogs. That's true, sir, she answered, but even the dogs eat the leftovers that fall from their master's table. So Jesus answered her, you are a woman of great faith. What you want will be done for you. And at that very moment, her daughter was healed. So here we see a scripture where you have a Canaanite woman, and at that time, she was still part of the Gentiles. Paul hadn't, that the message that we see further on after Jesus is ascended into heaven hadn't come yet, where, the Jews and the Gentiles are able to now mix together, which is a message that Peter is given further on in the New Testament to then share, and then he shares that, and then the Jews and the Gentiles are then the Gentiles basically are brought into the fold. But at this point you still had that going on. And what's interesting here is that even though the Canaanite woman was not a Jew, she still understood the value of Jesus' words, the value of his action, the value of what he was offering. And she was ready to take it up at any cost whatsoever. So you see here that the Jesus says to her, it isn't right to take the children's food and throw it to the dogs. What does that mean? It means that us as born again Christians, children of God, we are feasting on a table of goodness every single day of our lives. Every single day of our lives. We have so much at the table. We have healing at the table. We have provision at the table. We have so many blessings at the table that are available for us. But when you think of a table for a child of God, it's like there's platters and plates laid out in front of us every morning. And we are supposed to feast. Feast. Give us our daily bread, our portion for the day. Are we doing that? The table is full. It's like a buffet, full of all this goodness and all these things God has for us. Are we even feasting on those things that are available for us? And then what's interesting here is that she understands that Jesus is talking about this table that God lays out for his children every day for feasting on. And she says, that's true. But then even dogs eat the leftovers that fall from the tables. She was at a point where she was ready to even partake of any little remnant or last little small bit of Jesus she could get. She was willing to take the smallest bit that falls off the table, of the children. She was ready for that. And that's what Jesus commends as great faith for her. Her faith was in believing in the power of Jesus, to the point that if Jesus even gave the tiniest bit of himself, it was going to be enough for her daughter to be healed. So that is such a challenging question to us, even as children of God today, to say, are we even aware of this table that is laid out for us every morning when we wake up by God, when we are sleeping at night? Do we have an awareness that there's a table always laid out for us? Are we living in the full acknowledgement and awareness of the table that is laid in front of us? Do we have that constant awareness when we have a bill to pay, that there's a table of provision in front of us? Do we have that awareness when we are ill, that there is healing at the table? Are we living in a constant state of awareness of the table that is constantly in front of us? Because one way you can check that in your life is how much time do you spend worrying when you fall ill before you pray? How much time do you spend anxious when you need to pay for something and you don't yet have the money before you pray? And even after you pray, how much time do you still spend worrying about that thing? Because we have to get to a point where we live in the comfort of our provision. We have to get to a point where we live in the comfort of what's already been given. If healing has been given, let's live in the comfort that it is given. It may not be that you have been completely healed today, but the faith is living in the comfort that it is done and it is coming to pass. It is at the table, therefore it's available for me. I shouldn't worry about this thing. I will not continuously have it grinding in my mind continuously, because it's at the table. It's at the table. And this woman was willing to pick even a little crumb of that healing that someone else has dropped off. How much are we wasting that's at the table because we are not even eating it? Are we the type of children of God who are just sitting at a table every day and not even touching any of the food? We are just sitting there, not claiming any of this food that's been laid in front of us. Today, the challenge of this scripture is to eat, to feast from that table. You know, in Psalms 23, it says he lays a table in the midst of my enemies. What does that mean? It means even when we are in trouble, the table is still there. Even when we are in a tight spot, the table is still in front of us. Even when things are the hardest, the table is still there. I once met a man in one of the ministries I used to attend, where his father passed away, and he came to minister a week after his father had passed away. And he said, right now, I am sitting at the table of comfort. God is comforting me through this period of mourning. Did it mean that he wasn't feeling the pain of the loss of his father? No, he was feeling all the pain. But he knew that there was comfort at the table, because the word says that. He says that he will comfort those who mourn. So he was sitting at the table of comfort in his grieving season. So it doesn't mean that things go away. It just means that we are feasting on what is available at the table through good times and bad times. So I just wanted to use the scripture to make you aware that you have here a Canaanite woman who's able to identify that even if I had so much of a small little crumb of what you're offering your children, that would be enough for my daughter to be healed. So for you, how much more for us as born again children of God? Let's feast at the table of God. Let's feast on his promises. Let's feast on what he has given us. Yes? Let's make it an intention in 2025 to be constantly aware of the table, whatever situation we're in, so that we know that we are always provided for. So that is my message for today, for you to constantly remember that God is watching over you. He's constantly providing. He's constantly looking for a way to meet your needs. So you should not worry about anything, but everything. With thanksgiving, make your request known to him, and then he will guard you with peace. And you will feast off the peace that is at the table as you wait on him. So thank you so much for listening, and I hope you have a blessed day. Until I see you again on the Daily Bullet, goodbye.